On September 10th at 5:45 a.m., Beatrice Chisel pushed her box all by herself outside to a wide-open area. B, as she was called for short because her parents were always trying to save time, had learned a lot during the summer semester at Great Rapscott School. Formerly known for being loud, B no longer screamed to be heard. She brushed her teeth, and she even changed her underwear daily. B knew that she had behaved just like a head girl should for the whole 6 weeks summer break. She hopped inside the box, settled herself comfortably into the packing material, and waited to be transported back to school. She hoped she would be head girl for the entire fall semester. And why not? B had pluck. Miss Rapscott had said so the moment she saw the short, sturdy girl with the choppy black hair, and B knew that Miss Rapscott would be very proud of her now. But as the sky grew lighter, it occurred to B for the first time that the box hadn't been sealed. She stood and struggled with the flaps, but the quick-closed tape was on the outside, and the easy-shut flaps were impossible to close from inside the box. B gave up and flopped into the packing material to mull over the likelihood of plummeting out of an unsealed box. That's exactly what had happened to one of her classmates, Dahlia Thistle, and they'd spent the entire summer session searching for her. To make matters worse, a raindrop plopped on B's head. The patch of sky that she could see overhead had turned navy blue, and a gust of wind roared out of nowhere. It was strong enough to move her and the box several feet, and loud enough that she never heard the large truck pull up next to her house. A moment later, she felt the box being lifted. A man grunted and said, "Well, what's in here? Rocks?"
"Thank goodness! The delivery truck to take me to school. Maybe I can ask the delivery man to seal the box."
But it was not a delivery truck. It was yet another one of the dangers that were constantly befalling girls of busy parents. So while it was true that Bee had learned a lot at Great Rapscott School, she still had much to learn. That same day, around the same time, Mildred à la mode sat inside her own box. She'd missed the lighthouse, the corgi assistants Lewis and Clark, and even her classmates during the break. But Mildred was known for being lazy, and she'd slipped back into her old ways. Miss Rapscott was not going to be happy with her, Mildred was sure of that. She nervously flipped through her Rapscott journal, where she'd written an account of all that had happened last semester, and marvelled at the many adventures she'd managed to survive. Mildred had been terrified, but she had to admit it had been exciting. She had felt brave back then, like Amelia Earhart. In fact, they had used Amelia Earhart's very plane to fly back from one of their adventures. But since she'd been home, she'd barely left her bedroom. No, Miss Rapscott would not approve of how Mildred had spent the break. The plump, red-haired girl shifted in the packing material, aware that her uniform was too tight now. It didn't seem possible that later today she would be back at school and so far from home. What Mildred didn't know was that before the day was over, she'd be on her way to a place a whole lot farther than Great Rapscott School.